In a quiet countryside valley, surrounded by rolling fields and whispering winds, lived a humble farmer named Ridan. Unlike the other farmers of the village, Ridan owned only a very small piece of land. So small that people jokingly said even a sparrow would hesitate to land there. Yet Ridan believed that one day his land would produce a harvest greater than anyone expected. Every morning before sunrise, Ridan would stand in his fields and whisper to the soil, "You and I will grow together. I believe in you and you believe in me." The villagers laughed at him. "Belief doesn't grow crops," they said. "You need bigger land, better tools, and luck, not silly dreams." But Ridan didn't argue. He simply smiled, tightened the rope of his worn-out sandals, and continued working. His hands were rough, his tools old, and his land dry. But his heart was filled with something far more powerful than doubt: self-belief. One summer, the village faced a terrible drought. The larger farms with wide fields and expensive irrigation systems began to fail. Crops dried, leaves curled, and hope began to fade like dust in the wind. But Ridan did something unusual. Each evening, instead of giving up, he carried buckets of water from a distant spring, walking miles barefoot, just to pour a few precious drops onto his tiny plot of land. People shook their heads. "What's the point?" they asked. "You cannot save your crops. You are wasting your strength." But Ridan replied gently, "A seed listens to the heart of the one who plants it. If I stop believing, it will stop growing." Days passed, and the drought grew worse. The villagers prepared for famine. But one morning, as the sun rose like a golden lantern, a surprising sight appeared: green shoots sprouting from Ridan's land. Slowly, they grew taller, stronger, and brighter, while every other field around remained brown and lifeless. Word spread quickly. Villagers gathered around his thriving crops in disbelief. "How is this possible?" they asked. Ridan touched the leaves softly and said, "My land is small, but my belief was big." The size of the field doesn't decide the size of the harvest. The size of the heart does. When harvest season arrived, Ridan's tiny plot produced enough grain to feed the entire village. The same people who once laughed now felt inspired. They thanked him, but Ridan only smiled and shared his crops freely. That night, as the village celebrated, Ridan sat under the stars and whispered again to his soil, "You see, we did it. Not because others believed in us, but because we believed in ourselves first." From that day on, whenever anyone in the village felt discouraged, whether a student struggling in school, a potter learning his craft, or a young girl afraid to dream big, they remembered the farmer who grew abundance from almost nothing. Moral of the story: self-belief turns small beginnings into great achievements. When you believe in yourself, the world eventually believes too.